Good afternoon, everyone. Kalla here. Welcome to my live stream. Glad you could make it today. So today we are continuing on with the Murder Hotel. Last time we finished regaining Marion's memories from the previous night that he'd lost and picked up quite a few hints on how we're going to solve this court case, which based on the hints appears that it's going to involve everything we've done so far. And I just noticed that card at the top, which we're going to do before we go and talk to Gaspanger. Hello, Drag. How are you doing? Dream Diary entry number 0 has been unlocked. Entry number 0. Naphthalia. Fear of losing grip on reality. Queen of Nightmares, Nightmare Artificer. Type War Demon, Top Hat Demon. Not much is known about Naphthalia, except she possesses immense power that she cannot properly control. I'm glad you managed to get the stuff you wanted done in the time you wanted to do it. Yep. Right, there's nothing over the top. I'm gonna check the lower parts of this room just in case. Oh boy. Oh, hello. Card. Entry number 34. Agatha. Domain, fear of being exposed for what you've done. Titles, The Queen of Crime, Former Queen of Nightmares, and Bunny Girl. Type, Top Hat Demon. Agatha can sense when a dreamer feels guilty about something, and she does everything in her power to make them confess their sins. Her most feared ability is Sudden Death, in which she rams her walking stick into the ground, causing a random bystander to collapse and die. She vanished after losing a fight against Valsingenblut. Well, she sounds incredibly powerful. Whoa, there's so many hiding under tables. I'm glad I went and looked. Entry number 30. Rotenfanger. Domain, Fear of Rodents and the Plague. Titles, The Ratcatcher and The Cage. Type, Unbound. Rotenfanger is a devious dream demon whose upper body is a cage that traps his victims. Those victims must share that space with his rats, which are rumoured to carry all kinds of illnesses. Ooh. Yeah, there's still... We've definitely missed several cards along the way, right? But we have more now. I'm gonna go save again. Alright. Alright, Guestfinger. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow dream demons. Now that Valsungenblut is gone, this hotel has served its purpose as the cage that kept her trapped. To celebrate, I invite you to join me for one final round of entertainment. I know you have all been eagerly awaiting the grand finale. This time, our esteemed detective, Ilmarinian Haller, is tasked with figuring out the truth behind all the murders that have occurred in this hotel. Can he explain all the impossible murders for all 3 cases, using the same culprit for everything? The same culprit. Okay. The same culprit. So it's got to be... So it's got to be someone who didn't die any of the times, then. That's not a lot of people. I can. It was you, Guestfinger. What a comedian we are today. I hope that's not the conclusion you've reached over the past hour. Of course not. I just wanted to get the crowd in the mood. I see. You're slowly taking on the role of an entertainer. I suppose it's easier to stay calm that way, since the stakes couldn't be higher. Will Marinian get his freedom back? Or will my scissor blades finally quench their thirst for new thumbs? We shall find out in a moment. But before we start, let's check the bets. Wait, I forgot to select a rival. How silly of me. In that case, is there anyone who wishes to duel Ilmarinian Haller? Here. Let me rephrase. Are there any volunteers who don't plan to lose on purpose? Such a shy audience. But I guess I've already found my victim. You there, lady in pink. Wait, we're fighting Christina at this? What? You mean me? Of course. Miss Christina Mikiewicz, how are you feeling today? Well, I recently lost my sister, so I'd say awful. Understandable. Her death was tragic. While Mr. Haller was able to clear his name, it's questionable if Wiki is actually the murderer. But say, weren't you aiming to make your career as an actress? Yeah, it is interesting that Wilhelmine has not, it seems, been revived. But also, doesn't that mean Christina's gonna get faced by the fact that one of the cases she died in? That can't be good, Guestfinger. An actress? Me? Well, I've done some acting here and there, but I'm usually just behind the camera. Don't say another word. I have the perfect deal for you. As you've noticed, I'm a hotelier with supernatural powers. If you can beat Ilmarinia and Halloran Court, I'll grant you one wish. Destroy whatever silly theory he comes up with. Don't let him expose the true culprit. Wait, what? You want me to protect the monster who killed my sister? That's what I said. Okay, and what can I wish for? Anything you like. More wishes. No. In that case, could you bring my sister back and return her freedom? That should be possible. If you guard the true culprit's secret, Miss Anderson will be revived and able to leave the hotel with you. Sounds good. Give me a moment to think about it. Okay, let's see. If my sister is revived, it's as if she was never murdered. And if she wasn't murdered, then there's no need for a culprit. So, it's the morally correct thing to do, right, Uhtredin? You promised that the house burned down by the arsonist will be rebuilt. In my book, that doesn't change the fact that a crime was committed. In fact, that is what one of those politicians you despised would do. Whatever. Why did I even ask? You asked because you wanted to reach the moral high ground. That was a rhetorical question, and leave me be. Anyway, I accept the challenge. I'll be the rival. Wonderful. May I escort you to the stage? No need. I'll be there in a moment. Now that both of our contestants are present, everyone has 1 minute to place their bets. Will Ilmarinian be the first and last person to expose the true culprit at the hotel? Or will Christina thwart him, causing him to crash and burn? Let's go, Marin. All my money is on you. I am also betting the amount he owes me for my help. If you win, it will pay off your debt. Thank you, guys. All these gambling addicts these days. But you know what? I'll bet my snowboard on Christina. On her? You're joking. She's too emotional to be a good match for him. Don't underestimate a woman dedicated to getting what she wants. You're more likely underestimating a man who really doesn't want to lose his thumbs. Go, Marin. I bet my bicycle you'll make it. Roberta, what do you think? Should I place a little bet on my boy Ilmarinian? Don't bet anything you're not prepared to lose unless you've manipulated the outcome yourself. Oh, that makes sense. Nothing I don't want to lose. In that case, I'll bet your remaining vacation days on Ilmarinian. Are you allowed to do that to A? Excuse me? That was a joke. I'll use mine, of course. I think all of you are underestimating Christina. She knows no boundaries when she wants something. Do you mean she'll cheat if necessary? It could be. My money goes to her. Interesting. Thanks to Gerard, I have some spare change as well, so I might use it. What's wrong, Sarah? I do not want to bet on the outcome because I'm afraid it might influence the result. However, I am sure Christina will try to gain an advantage illegally. How does one cheat at a trial like this anyway? She can't suddenly forge evidence or anything. Can't she? Are we sure about that? We shall see. But I would like to suggest a bet between the two of us. If you catch her doing something illegal and point it out to me, I will ask you out. Sarah, that was a joke, right? I do not make jokes about that. Consider it my way of thanking you for taking care of me last night. Say no more. It's time to lock on. I'm not sure if I can watch this. Sandman, it's starting! I can see that. Aren't you excited to see who will come out on top? I could never get enough of the thrill of watching an intellectual battle of wits. Is that why you enjoy stealing others' identities so much? In what way? Committing murder and stealing identities are similar in nature. Often one thing leads to another. Leads to the other. But you're not one to cause mindless bloodshed. You just enjoy the challenge, don't you? Yes, I do. So, what do you think? Who is going to win? Before I answer, I would like to make something clear. You were annoyed with me because you thought I didn't understand you. I never... I understand you better than you think, Miss Doppelganger. You're not the first war demon I've encountered. You asked me who I think will win, assuming I would make a blind guess. But I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you because I know Gastfanger better than anyone else in this room. The winner is the one who makes Gastfanger lose the least. In that case, Christina will win, right? Wait, would Gastfanger gain more if Ilmarinian wins? I mean, Christina has just bartered for the freedom of her and her sister. Does Ilmarinian get to free anyone else if he wins? I'm not sure. If you really want to get close to Gastfanger, there's still a lot you have to learn about him. Why does it feel like I'm talking to a father-in-law now? I think Clara... Didn't Clara go back home? I may be misremembering. It's been a long minute, but betting is now closed. Thank you all for participating. Interesting. The amount and number of bets are both 50-50. I guess no one is sure how good Christina's seductive abilities are. However, the fact that I've never lost a case is still significant. Wait, does that mean everyone thinks I'm a noob? I'm not sure what that means, but I assume they're underestimating you. Oh man, nobody believes in me. I mean, some people do, clearly. Christina, don't let that get to you. You might not remember, but up until now I was constantly fighting against the odds. I have no idea how good you are at court battles, but I know you care about your sister a lot. Thanks, I guess. Crash Pilot, I have a request. I know I said I really want you to figure out who killed my sister, but could you go easy on me? No, I have to take this seriously. I will figure out who the true culprit is and expose them. You won't stop me. Excellent. Gasfinger, I'm ready to take down this Crash Pilot. Bring it on, Christina. I'm not scared of you. The contestants fired each other up. What a great way to start the final chapter of this hotel. New bookmark has been set. All right. Okay. The court is now in session for the trial of the final murder hotel case. As in the second case, Ilmarinian only needs to present a theory this time. After the opening statement, Christina is free to attack the theory from all angles. Ilmarinian can win under two conditions. First, he must figure out who the true culprit is. Second, he must be able to explain all the tricks I used with the true culprit. Hey, who exactly is the true culprit, and why did you mention your tricks? That's kind of confusing, Mr. Gastfinger. Christina has a point. It may be a little late, but I'll briefly explain the whole situation. I murdered everyone, of course. But there's a true culprit who acted on my behalf. I possessed a human body, so to speak. While I can easily go in and out of locked rooms using my warp ability, I always ensure my crimes can be explained in a way that is possible for humans. This true culprit serves as my representative. This ensures that my game is fair. A detective should not waste time trying to solve something that is impossible. Ensuring that it is possible is like promising my stories were not written by an artificial life form. Okay, but what about the true culprit? Whose identity do I need to defend? Good point, Christina. It appears my head is in the clouds today. Miss Alentora will whisper the details about the true culprit, as well as events from previous chapters that you may not remember. Oh, okay. Ilmarinian, please excuse us for this brief recess. No problem. I was already wondering how Christina was going to defend the true culprit's identity if she doesn't even know who it is. Okay, so... oh boy. I really should have tried to remember who's dead. Well, who was dead. So, okay. Theorizing here. So the true culprit is not going to be Professor Holmes because he only turned up in the third one, and if it's the same culprit for all three, it's not really possible for it to be him. Ditto, Clara was missing for one of them, right? Plus, I don't think Gastfinger can possess her. Probably. So it's not her. Wilhelmine and Christina have both died, and so did Sarah? No, Sarah was found well. So Sarah is an option. She wasn't part of the bloodbath for case 2, right? relatively sure it's not Wiki. Lupita died in the bloodbath of case 2. Elspeth died in case 1. Who else died in case 2 again? Because it was most of them. Pretty sure Milan died in case 2. And Roberto, right? Oh, I wish I could remember who died in case 2. Okay, I think I understand. It's a lot of complicated stuff, though. The true culprit must be a genius. A genius? Who are you talking about? It's... Oh, you almost caught me off guard, Crash Pilot. Since when did you learn to use underhanded tactics? It can't hurt to try. You gotta work for your win. Ilmarinian, please give us your opening statement. Who do you think it is? Oh good, oh good, oh good, Marin's gonna do it for me. Thank goodness. Before I say who it is, I think I should probably weed out those who can't be the culprit in any case. The first person would be Professor Holmes. On which basis do you rule Professor Moriarty Holmes out? That would be the culprit. The declared culprit must be one of the original 14 people in this hotel. Knox first. The culprit must be one of the original 14 humans who were present at the beginning. Professor Holmes wasn't here during the first 2 cases, and on top of that, he's actually a dream demon. That's true. I only included Mr. Sandman on this list for aesthetic reasons. Yes, because it makes it a nice rectangle. There's one more person that can be ruled out already. And that's me. I can't be the true culprit either. Based on which fact, detectives are not allowed to declare themselves guilty. Knox 7th. I'm the detective and I didn't murder anyone in this hotel. Really? Then why didn't you say so from the start? What? All the hatred I felt for you was for nothing. Now, with that out of the way, we can now move on to the discussion. Wait, hold on. I have an important question. Does it matter if, for whatever reason, the Crash Pilot decides to make a theory involving me as the true culprit? Could I accept all theories involving me in order to protect the real killer and still win? Interesting question, Christina. Ilmarinian will lose if he picks someone who isn't the true culprit, even if that person is his rival. During this court session, it's not just about letting the detective figure out the truth. It's also important to deceive him by throwing in objections meant to confuse him. For example, if Ilmarinian goes for a Holmes culprit theory, you could object to all his Holmes-related theories to throw him off. After all, the more you defend a certain person, the more likely they are to be the actual culprit. So, I have to utilize pink herrings to throw him off. Got it. Aren't they supposed to be red? Pink is cuter. So, Ilmarinian, please explain to us the truth about Elspeth's death in the first case. How did the culprit really escape from the crime scene? Remember, the method you choose must be possible for the potential true culprit you select. Claiming someone was hiding under the bed won't earn you any points today. Alright, here goes nothing. Ooh boy. Well, it's possible Elspeth's door wasn't even locked. Listen to me, the door wasn't locked when Ismail tried to open it with the key. Only when he tried to tackle the door open, it was locked. In other words, the culprit must have left the room during that time. When we returned, I forgot to check if the door was still locked. I clearly remember Ismail mumbling that the key didn't turn all the way. So, are you saying the culprit was in Elspeth's room when you and Ismail found the blood on her door? Exactly. The culprit must have left the room while Ismail and I were fetching the others. So, who comes into question? Let's see. Elspeth and Gerard were dead. Oh yes, Gerard was dead in the first case. So they can be ruled out. Ismail and I found the crime scene together and went downstairs to the bar. It can't be him. Meanwhile, Roberto, Alexander, and Sarangel were at the bar. Lupita and Milan were playing cards at the time. And I was in Wilhelmine's room with her, so there are only 3 people left. Your true culprit must be either Wiki, Uwe, or Clara. I guess it's Uwe then. But I thought we established that there was no way that Wait. While we did establish that there was no way Uwe could do it, I guess it's not actually Uwe, is it? Wait, Christina. I recall something weird about the 2 of you when it came to the time of the crime. Wilhelmine didn't have an alibi because you were in her bathroom most of the time. And you briefly didn't have an alibi since you apparently had to get your towel from your room. So, you're saying it was one of us? Are you nuts? It's possible. I guess it is. I have no objections. Go ahead with whatever theory you're working on. Fine. Let me cross out everyone who had an alibi during that time. The only people who should be left are Christina, Wilhelmine, Wiki, Uwe, and Clara. Understood. I will adjust the roster. And don't forget, if you reach a dead end, you can go back for a small penalty. Is there a difference between small and normal-sized penalties? Do you really want to know? Better not. Hey, Crash Pilot, I have a question for you. When did you discover Elspeth's body again? Yeah, we haven't talked about the bloodbath of Case 2 yet, but isn't the only person still available on this page now that died in the bloodbath of Case 2 Christina? Because Wilhelmine wasn't dead, Wiki wasn't dead, Clara wasn't dead. Was Uwe dead? I honestly don't remember. It was around 3:15 in the morning. And this happened after I visited Roberto in the bar and brought him up to the second floor. When did you see Ismail ram against the door? That must have been around 3. In that case, I'd like to say something. I was in Wilhelmine's room between 2:12 and 3:15. Whatever you're trying to come up with, you better not include me. I see. I'll update the list for you, Ilmarinian. The number of potential suspects is already surprisingly small. The people on it. I'm not sure if I can create a theory involving any of them for the later cases. Proving that Clara was not the culprit was the whole point of the second case. And Wiki? Despite all the silly things she did, would she really be so cringe as to murder someone? It seems like Uwe and Wilhelmine are my only real candidates now. Wait. Why did Christina already tell me about her alibi? I didn't even... Crash pilot, what's wrong? Did your brain fry? I think I made a mistake. That's true. I heard that flying into blizzards isn't good for you. That's not what I meant. I was talking about this case. Why? So far it sounds pretty logical the door wasn't locked when Ismail used the master key. Yes, but then... It can't be Clara, and I doubt it's Wiki. And Uwe would never murder Elspeth. That leaves only one person, right? Yes, but that's Wilhelmine. What's the problem with that? Why can't it be Wilhelmine? Because no one committed suicide. During the second case, you said that no one committed suicide. Wilhelmine was the sole victim in the third case. If suicide is not an option, she can't be the culprit. Great thinking. I guess you deserve one heart for that. Now let me explain why this doesn't rule her out. It's theoretically possible that Wilhelmine died in an accident while she was in your room during the third case. An accident? What I mean is, the idea that there were no suicides is a global blue truth. It affects all three cases. However, you can still choose Wilhelmine as the culprit, as long as you can explain how she died in the third case without committing suicide. So what if her own gun backfired on her? I feel like both Gastfinger and Christina are trying to push me toward the Wilhelmine culprit theory. And then it most likely wasn't her. I have to change my line of thinking. So, Ilmarinian, can we please proceed? No. The two of you are trying to lure me into a trap. I mean, you're not wrong. That's the whole point of being your rival. You have no idea what kind of trap I'm setting. Christina, were you in Wilhelmine's bathroom the whole time? Yep. I briefly left to get my towel around 2:10 though. Did you hear Wilhelmine leave the room? I didn't pay attention to that. I was busy singing a Polish song about a dancing cow while bathing. She might have left without me noticing. Damn it, I'm stuck. What's wrong? Are you afraid to use my sister in your theory? It's not your sister, I know it. Tana, what should I do? Does anyone have an idea? Wiki? Gerard? I don't remember handing out audience jokers, so stop asking them for help. You can either use Wilhelmine for your theory or give up. I'd sell my soul to get. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Feeling insecure? Having a hard time? What's going on now? Where does this voice come from? From above, perhaps? Are you struggling to protect your stolen assets while the victim is trying to get them back? Don't worry, I have the perfect invention for you. Spallanzani, what is the meaning of this? I'm very sorry, Mr. Gastfinger. I have no idea who turned on my Appear Virtually Anywhere device. This is a cabinet, mankind's greatest invention. Forget using keys to lock your doors. They're so prehistoric. All you need is a sturdy cabinet to prevent the robbed from getting in through your door. Order 1 and get 2. Don't miss out on a... It's not possible to get through a door with a cabinet blocking it. Oh, okay. Okay. So the suggestion here is that... is that the Elspeth's door was never locked, but when Ismail tried to ram it, there was a blockade behind it? I'm very sorry for this. It seems the uninvited elder demon Mephos has hijacked this device to cause confusion. But this problem has now been dealt with, rest assured. This better be the only interruption. Thank you, Mephos. You have no idea how much this just helped me. Though I do hope it did not actually cost my soul. It's time to abandon the idea that the door was only locked once. Because Elspeth's door was never locked with a key to begin with. One theory caught my eye. Looking at it now, it must be the true solution. Elspeth's door was never locked in the first place, not even when Ismail was ramming against it. Hey, that was my theory back then, if I'm not mistaken. How do you remember that? Helen Tura told me about it. Does that mean it's related to the true culprit's identity? Could be. So, this is the part where I have to raise an objection, right? You don't have to. But I want to try it out. Everyone, watch me. I'll scream as loudly as a phoenix. Objection! You saw how Ismail tried to open the door by ramming into it. Don't argue that the door only opens outward, because that's not the case. How could the door be unlocked if not even a strong man like Ismail could open it by force? Cabinet. Objection! It looks like you've been missing out on the news. Whether a door is locked or unlocked, you can't go through if a cabinet is blocking your way. Ismail may be strong, but even a strong force succumbs to an immovable object. You think right does a better objection. Mm-hmm. Wait, you can't seriously be suggesting that? I have multiple problems with your solution. Where do I even begin? Objection! How do you explain that it wasn't in front of the door when you got into the room? Oh, the thing about moving a thing. Okay, so it requires both of these two items. And I don't know which one I'm supposed to be throwing here. Admittedly, we could use the lie Elspeth was actually alive during the first case. Yeah, because if the murderer setting it up. I'm not actually sure how this works. Because I know how you could remove a cabinet from in front of a door while not being actively in the room by utilizing ropes and the mouse hole. But how do you set that up in the first place and also leave the room? It kind of feels like that's a problem. Huh. The ropes, the mouse hole. The mouse hole? Don't like this. That's how it disappeared. Gosh, Pilots, I can't follow your train of thought. You need to explain that in way more detail. Is it time for another penalty? No, I want him to think for once. Let him try again. But I like handing out penalties. Just saved by Christina. I better not lose that opportunity. Right, it's possible Elspeth's door was never locked. Because that's the only thing I have that's usable. Right, cabinet. Ropes, then? Objection! That's because the culprit moved the cabinet with a rope. A rope? Jesus Christ! With each word, his theory becomes more ridiculous. Where should the culprits have gotten a rope? Well, there's one in the basement. If I'm not mistaken, you should definitely know about it since you used it to tie up Wiki. Ah, right, that rope. The culprit left the room and used the rope to move the cabinet from the outside. From the outside. Okay. I bet your next claim is he placed the rope all the way over the window into another room. Nope. Now the mouse hole. Objection! Don't try to steer my thoughts in that direction. Why would you need a window when you could use something much closer to the cabinet, like a mouse hole? Hang on. There's a mouse hole in my hotel? Minns and Mons, check Elspeth's room immediately for pests. Sorry. Please continue with your completely absurd theory, Ilmarinian. It's not absurd. Look, Christina hasn't objected yet. I'm just not sure what to object to yet. Who would use a rope and a mouse hole to commit a locked room murder? On top of that, who would have enough strength to move the cabinet like that when not even Ismail could move it? Maybe Clara can sneak in now. Yeah, that's true. Okay, rope and pulley system. Objection! With the help of a rope and pulley system, anyone can move a heavy object like that. Even you. Wait, did you just call me weak? No, I mean, it's possible for anyone. Because if I can lift it, then everyone else can too, because they're stronger than me. Whatever. What I want to say is, with enough mechanical advantage, like, let's say ×4, you can easily move a heavy object like that. Mechanical advantage. Objection! Nox 4. No unknown drugs, poisons, or mechanical devices that require lengthy scientific explanations are allowed. Rope and pulley isn't a lengthy scientific explanation, Christina. Funny that you bring that up. You just made me remember something. Objection. Process specified that when he explained the Nox rules that using a rope and pulley system to move a wardrobe is a legitimate solution. Right? I did mention that, yes. But that's like complex physics. That's almost as impossible to understand as irrational numbers. Christina, a rope and pulley is really, really easy physics. It's not complicated. Given enough rope and like 4 pulleys, it's possible to pull anything into your direction. What a load of Zerzy. Where were the pulleys supposed to be? Without them, you can't gain any mechanical advantage. Explain yourself, crash pilots. Why didn't you find them if they exist? Well, I don't like the number of things that I have available to myself here. We can't just use... The rope and pulley system can be used. Because that doesn't help us. Transferring contents to a perfume bottle does not actually help us. Christina's underwear has cute pink herrings on them. I'm not sure that this helps us either. Oh no. Why didn't I find... Oh, why didn't I find them? Because your underwear was in the way. That was it. Yeah. Crash pilot? Christina? Why couldn't I find the ropes or the pulley? That's what I asked you. I know. The thing is, I could have easily found them. Then why didn't you? There were fish in my way. If I'd gone after them, the shark would have torn me to pieces. Crash pilot, are you alright? Christina, are you just pretending you don't understand? Or are you trying to act like you haven't noticed yet? I have the same question for you, Gastfanger. Are you prepared for the truth? I never wasn't prepared. Spill the beans, Ilmarinian. So be it. Objection! I couldn't find the rope and trolley because the pink herrings on your underwear were in the way. Oh, achievement. Find the secret of the final court. Wait, what? Back when I investigated Wilhelmine's room, I found a suspicious box under her dress. But I couldn't reach it because you were watching me closely and you left your underwear on the drying rack. You purposely placed it there so that a decent man like me wouldn't dare to get close to the box behind it. So, there was a box behind the drying rack, and this box was also covering the mouse hole on Wilhelmine's side. The culprit must have sat in Wilhelmine's bathroom and pulled the cabinet. No, wait. Let's do this in order. First, the culprit murdered Gerard and Elspeth. Then they applied the rope they brought around the wardrobe in Elspeth's room and pushed the other end through the mouse hole into Wilhelmine's room. Next, the murderer left Elspeth's room without locking any doors. Oh, the cabinet was on the left-hand side of the door to start with. That's how we're doing this. Then they moved to Wilhelmine's bathroom, where they connected the rope to pulleys that they'd brought with them. Finally, they sat in the bathroom and slowly pulled on the rope until the cabinet was in front of the door. They waited until they heard someone trying to forcibly enter Elspeth's room or knock on the door in order to create the illusion of a locked room. Once they made sure the air was clean, they pulled the cabinet the rest of the way across the room. Because Ismail didn't check the door when he returned, the room accidentally became an even more complex locked room in the culprit's favour. This sounds amazingly absurd, doesn't it? Oh, I know it does. But that's not as absurd as being stuck inside a nightmare where I'm forced to solve murders for a crooked scissor-wielding dream demon. Hilarinia and Hella, please say it. Do me the favour. Because you asked so nicely using my full name, I will give in. Miss Christina Mikiewicz. You are the true culprit. You murdered everyone on Gastvenger's behalf. You're the evil genius that came up with all those messed up murders. It's hilarious to hear that. Someone really thinks I have what it takes to be an evil mastermind? You have no idea how much I enjoy that. Please don't get too caught up in the moment, as we still have a trial to go through. Okay, fine. Ilmarinian, are you expecting a big villain speech right now? Yes. Then forfeit your right to choose someone else. I should do what? I want you to announce that you don't believe it could have been anyone else. Why should I do that? What Christina wants is for you to confirm that your theory is the final one. Once you do that, you won't be able to change your choice of the true culprit. You already announced publicly that you think she's the culprit. Now you have to decide whether to forfeit your right to select another culprit, or drop the idea that Christina is the culprit completely. What? Since when has that been a thing? Oh, I just made that up right now. Since it's the grand finale, I thought it would make things more interesting. Alright. What? Are you serious? My court. My rules. Hilmarinian, do you really think anyone else could carry out all these complicated murders? Well... Wait, are you actually doubting me now? Weren't you just pointing your finger at me, proclaiming that I killed everyone? What's the hold-up now? Either you have the absolute best poker face I've ever seen, or I'm about to fall into the biggest trap imaginable. You're too paranoid. We ask the audience what they think. Hey everyone, am I the culprit? Please tell me. Christina! 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 See? Everyone thinks it's me. You solved it. Congratulations, Ilmarina and Halla. Come on, announce that I'm your final choice. You'd be the first detective to discover my identity. Even if you can't explain all of Gasfinger's methods involving me, you'll still gain a lot of prestige. I don't care about prestige, I care about not losing. Ilmarina and Halla, choose your destiny now. Am I the true culprit? Yes or no? No is locked. So yes? This choice will drastically change the ending. Well, it's the only option that we can choose. So yes? You know what? Why am I even scared? The proof that you're the real culprit is right here. Yeah, I guess we needed that last secret for the true ending, right? At least I think that's the true ending part. But hey, multiple endings, it's fun still. If we can prove that Christina could do it. I don't need to look for another suspect when I know it could only have been you. You almost chickened out. If I'm not the real culprit, then Ilmarina loses immediately, right, Gastfinger? That's right. It would mean the trial would come to an end quickly. And that's where I have a great idea. Since this is the last trial, how about we continue regardless of whether Ilmarina is right or wrong? That way we can duke it out until Ilmarina hits his mental limit instead of him just being slapped with the bitter reality that he was wrong. You're cruel. I like it. Well then, everyone. Ilmarina has chosen his true culprit, and there's no going back now. How will he explain the remaining cases using only Christina as the perpetrator? What do you mean by remaining cases? There's still one thing we haven't talked about. There's still one thing we haven't talked about with Elspeth's locked room murder case. Oh, pardon me. Who am I to take away your right to voice your objections? Ilmarina, solve my riddle. You claim that I was the one who murdered Elspeth, but how should that be possible? I was getting my towel from the time between 2:10 and 2:12. Yeah, but Christina, your room is on a different floor to your sister's. I'm not sure you can do that in 2 minutes. Getting my towel from my room and murdering 2 people is entirely impossible. So, what's the answer? You didn't murder them during that time. Maybe. You didn't bring your towel. Well, we know that there was an extra towel, right? We saw the extra towel, right? Pretty sure we saw the extra towel. But yeah, you didn't have to murder them at that time, I don't think. If that's the case, then you couldn't have murdered them during that time. Do I have to remind you that I was in Wilhelmine's room from 2 till 3:15, except for those 2 minutes? Elspeth and Gerard were still alive at 2. Therefore, claiming that I murdered them at a different time is impossible. Ilmarina and Selma, okay. Well, okay. Oh, wait. No, no. Just because she brought a towel doesn't mean she brought her own towel, right? She could have brought Elspeth's towel. If it's impossible, then surely you didn't bring your towel. Objection! I brought my towel. Why is that even a thing? Do you really mind sharing a towel with your half-sister? Maybe you guys in Finland don't know about it, but there's something called hygiene. Christina, please don't mock an entire nation based on one person's limited knowledge. We are better than that. I'm sorry, I guess it's just a man's thing not to know about hygiene. Gasfinger, why is mocking a whole gender okay now? Could you two please stop this kindergarten nonsense and get back on track? There's a murder to discuss. Okay. Alright then, it is impossible. You're right, it's impossible. It's impossible to get your towel if it's in your room. But who's to say you didn't store it somewhere else nearby beforehand, like in the elevator? Murder those two, set up the rope and pulley, quickly grab your towel and done? You know how short 2 minutes are? Not for someone who's probably killed dozens of people by that point. I have no objections. An experienced murderer could certainly do all that in 2 minutes. With that being out of the way, how about we move on to the next point? Gasfinger said next point, but I feel we should talk about what happened before Elspeth and Gerard were murdered. So, Elmarinian, how's it going trying to gobble down the truth? No matter how poisonous it is, everyone wants more. Huh? You say I'm the culprit, Ilmarinian? Then prove it here and now. Tell me how I poisoned you. I dare you. Yeah, you were trying to poison Elspeth. Let's start with the basics. You poisoned Elspeth's muffin and I accidentally ate it. You're still relying on the basics at this point? Objection! I never set foot in the kitchen that day. You don't have to enter the kitchen to poison a muffin. You found the poison bottle in the kitchen, didn't you? How did it end up there? Elspeth? That's easy to explain. Elspeth put the bottle there. Objection! If she put it there, then how should I have access to its content? Perhaps you didn't need the bottle to put poison on her muffin. Oh, should that be possible? It's simple to transfer contents from a container to a perfume bottle. Hold it! It's easy to do with a perfume bottle. A perfume bottle? Are you having a fever dream again? Far from it. Watch me. It's easy to pour its contents from one bottle into the other. You took the poison bottle beforehand and put some of its contents in an empty perfume bottle as a substitute. Then, when no one was watching in the dining room, you sprayed the poison onto Elspeth's muffin with it. Elmarinian, how could you? You've been tricked. I can't believe it. Everyone will think I'm a villainess. I don't want to go to jail again. I'm too young to end up rotting in one. You reap what you sow. Elmarinian, I was joking. Do I look afraid? I'm not a murderer. In fact, I'll show you that you've been wrong from the beginning. You're bluffing. I figured out your second trick and you know it. Let me tell you something. If I were actually the culprit, I'd be offended by the fact that this is the solution you came up with. I think it's time for a reality check. Objection! Your theory is nonsense because I never intended to poison Elspeth in the first place. Huh? What? Surprised, eh? The pink girl can use blue truths. Christina, why did you phrase it that way? You should have said true culprit, not I. Oops. I got a little too excited and crashed his fragile theory like a wave hitting a sandcastle. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He's stuck now because he can't come up with a different theory about who the culprit is. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't mean she didn't intend to poison someone else, that's true. Admittedly, that only necessarily means you didn't intend to poison Elspeth. It doesn't necessarily mean you didn't intend to poison someone. You could have just sprayed that poison onto the plate and seen what happened. You know. Just like randomly. Well, I guess we put that there, right? You're right. You never wanted to poison Elspeth. That means you planned ahead and somehow knew I would steal her muffin. Objection. Nox 2. All murders have to be explained in a way that's humanly possible. There's no way someone like me could have known you'd do that in advance. And just to be clear, you were definitely accidentally poisoned. If Christina never intended to poison Elspeth or me, then who was her real target? Gerard? I mean, Gerard also ended up dead, so... Or equally Uwe or Ismail, since they were in the kitchen? Oh, wait. The... flags. I'm just wondering if it might be easy to pick who she poisoned based on the flags. Like, did she get the flags wrong? The thing is that Elspeth's muffin was the only one with 2 flags in it, because it had both the Union Jack and the Scottish flag, right? And no one else, I think. Yeah, So it's either Gerard on the basis that he also ended up dead. Or it's Uwe or Ismail because they were in the kitchen. And it depends on when she poisoned the stuff, right? Like, was she aiming for the people who made the stuff to get poisoned by, like, getting it on their hands or something? No, let's go with Gerard. Objection, we got this wrong from the beginning. I completely forgot for a moment there was more than one victim in that case. I dare say Elspeth was never the prime target, it was Gerard. Gerard, you say? Assuming Gerard was the intended victim, how do you explain the arsenic ending up in your stomach? Oh, shoot. It's spaghetti, pretzel, muffin, wine glass. Gerard offered us wine, right? We were drinking from the same wine thing as Gerard, right? Yeah. Hold on, Gerard offered me a drink from his wine glass. The glass had been on the table before I arrived. You had the chance to put poison in it. If a lie is repeated often enough, it becomes the truth. My, what a smart thing to say. Have you read a good book lately? No comment. That was a dirty trick from both of you. Just for the record, I never said the muffin was poisoned. Now that that's out of the way, we can move on to the second case. I hope you still remember the details of the double-locked room setup. For the most part, both keys were in the other rooms. Before you say anything, I want to know if you remember the blood message. The one saying Christina? Sure I do. The true culprit wrote that. And since you think that's me, can you tell me why on earth I would have done that? The culprit could be mocking us. Also, pink herring. Well, let me quote something. You couldn't catch a culprit if she was right in front of you. Who's to say that writing your own name in blood wasn't a taunt? Alright, point taken. If I were the true culprit, it's not impossible that I might be taunting you. I think you deserve 1 heart for that. Much appreciated. Anyway, let's move on. Time to explain the locked rooms. The culprit may be one of the victims. Yeah, it's the only thing we can choose right now. Nothing could be easier. Since you were dead, the culprit must have been a victim as well. Most likely, someone retaliated by fatally wounding you while you were killing everyone. See? It's easily explained. Yeah, I'm a little worried about us gaining hearts when we haven't been losing any. I gotta agree with you there, Drag. Is something going to happen that's, that we're going to end up with too many incorrect guesses? If you're going to name me as the culprit, at least give me enough credit to be professional about it. Objection! The true culprit never died in any case. I'd be far too smart to let a potential victim end my life. That was pink, though. But why was there so much fuss about Wiki saying you were still alive? Wiki's a field liar. Anyone in this courtroom can attest to that. Well then, say it in blue that you were dead. Oh, Crash Pilot, do you think that's how you'll achieve anything in life? What's next? Will you ask Wiki to say it in blue that she loves you, or else you won't trust her? That's something completely different. You know what? Go for it. Use this pink truth as the basis for your theory. I love knocking over shaky theory towers. I'm not sure I like it, but it's all I've got. The true culprit wasn't actually dead in the first place, which means you were still alive. I guess Wiki was right when she said she saw you smirk when she tried to examine you. Could it be that someone is very ticklish? Very funny. If you want to argue that way, then so be it. Objection! How do you explain the fact that Gerard confirmed my death when he found me under the table? And what about my own sister confirming it was me to rule out any doubt? That's easily answered. The body that Gerard discovered was dead or not alive? Wait. Wait. Both of the no, wait, no, there is a difference in something being dead and something not being alive. Because, like, Alantura's puppet body isn't alive, but it's also not dead. Hold on, Gerard only confirmed that there was no living body, meaning it wasn't alive. That doesn't mean the body was dead, it could have been a dummy. You understood the difference between being dead and not being alive? Render me somewhat impressed. Too bad I have to shoot down that theory as well. Objection! When Ilmarinian and Gerard unlocked and entered the library, there were exactly 4 dead bodies inside. That doesn't disprove anything. Do I need to remind you that you searched every nook and cranny of the library and still couldn't find another dead body? Also, while we're on the subject, let me add something else. Objection! When Ilmarinian and Gerard unlocked and entered the library, no one else was alive in that room. Oh, those scissor hints unlocked in the wrong order. In other words, there was no one hiding in the room, no dead body, no true culprit. But you must have been hiding somewhere, there's no other way. I know this sounds heavy, but I was dead. No hidden shenanigans at work. In fact, even the lounge key was clearly visible. The culprit wasn't even trying to make it difficult for you. Yeah, it's not possible to set up the rooms using the lounge key last. Hold on, what do you mean by that? Well, the lounge key was part of the locked room, so... Objection! The lounge key is irrelevant since it can't explain how the locked room was created. The only key that can start unraveling those locks is the library key, which we discovered in the lounge. So what? It means you were hiding in the lounge at that time. Are you nuts? Objection! First, Wilhelmine confirmed I was under the table in the library. Second, you searched the lounge thoroughly and couldn't find me. To answer your second question, we all know where you were hiding. We couldn't find you because you were hiding in an impossible-to-see spot. You were in the secret tunnel between the basement and the lounge. Marin, we couldn't open it from that end. Uh-oh. At least don't portray me as a villain who breaks the Nox rules. There's no need to stay in the tunnel. The chimney is good enough for such things. Whatever. You stayed there until Gerard and I unlocked the door between the lounge and the library with the master key. After we left, you switched places with the body under the table, pretending to be dead. It's ridiculous. Why would I do something so complicated in the first place? Obviously to create some twisted murder mystery for me to solve. But that would be way too risky. You could have re-entered those 2 rooms at any time. That's true. It would have been extremely risky. And not when there was someone helping you. Right, Process? Remember when Wilhelmine tried to enter the lounge and you put her in chains? Who doesn't? What's your point? Yeah, why are you pointing at him now? It turns out the whole situation only happened because he was stalling for time. Time for you to remove the fake body, probably tossing it out the window. Then you stabbed yourself with Ue's knife. Then you put it under the cushions of the chair. Finally, you positioned yourself under the table. Not bad. Really not bad, Ilmarinian. I was going to argue about the lack of soot marks on my body, but I guess there's no point in dragging this out now. Your theory is quite solid. It's something I would certainly do as a crafty mastermind. I'm almost humbled by how much credit you're giving me. Finally, a man who understands how smart I am. Is that a confession, Christina? Dream on. There are still 2 pillars you have to conquer. How about we move on to the next one, Gastvenger? If I'm not mistaken, you wanted to discuss something else about the second case. Indeed. Ilmarinian, do you happen to remember what Wilhelmine's gun smelled like when you examined it? I'm kinda worried now that you know about it. Ellen Toro is very detailed in her explanation. I've heard that this jasmine perfume is actually quite important to the case. How so? I'm sure you've noticed it yourself, but I'll gladly explain it to everyone here. The problem is that Wilhelmine's gun is one of the 2 murder weapons. Its distinctive jasmine scent was unmistakable. The smell is the same as one of her exotic, expensive perfumes that she rarely uses. Now, here comes the fun part. How did the perfume end up on Wilhelmine's gun when she applied it after the charade session? I mean, she's your sister, Christina. I'm still confused about how all of this is connected. Care to explain? Gosh, Ilmarinian, think for a moment. Wilhelmine used the perfume after the charade session. Yes, and how would the gun be affected by this perfume? Because I know she usually hides it in the bathroom. Christina proclaimed she knew where Wilhelmine's gun was located. Didn't you say you didn't know she had her gun with her at some point? That's beside the point. And I said it to Gerard in reference to a different case. Stop causing confusion now. Okay. Please go on. Obviously, the smell of the gun was affected by the perfume she applied in the bathroom because it was nearby. In other words, the gun was in Wilhelmine's room when the murders happened. And it's funny that a certain chaotic woman decided to put duct tape on my sister's door. While the seal was in place, nothing can break the fact that Wilhelmine was in her room during the time of the murder. The seal was only broken by process after the murders had already been committed. So, next comes the most important question. How could I have had access to the gun when I couldn't enter Wilhelmine's room at the time of the murders? In other words, the main locked room you have to deal with is not the lame double key switch setup. The real locked room masterpiece is Wilhelmine's room because the weapon could not have gotten into my hands. Hello, Nick. I'm sorry that you have to go into the office. We're accusing Christina of all the murders. And we may or may not be correct. Christina, no offense, but you sound like a maniac who enjoys creating crazy murder mystery puzzles. Really? My bad, I got a bit too invested into that bit. It's actually not that different from structuring an episode in Rakowski. I guess I have some experience with that. Anyway, thanks for the brief. I think I understand it now. You're welcome. I hope you're seeing how this will be the end of your detective career. You're way too invested in this now. You can't blame me. It's fun for me to be on a big stage like this. Well then, let me come up with a theory. Yeah, the culprit may have overheard Ilmarinian saying about the perfume. I don't think we need to talk much about this. You probably overheard Wilhelmine and me talking about my favourite women's perfume. How does that have anything to do with me not being able to enter Wilhelmine's room? Can I get an answer? I mean, I might have overheard you talking about your favourite perfumes, but what does that prove? That you knew Wilhelmine would use it. It proves that you knew in advance that Wilhelmine would use it. In other words, you could have easily snuck into her room, stolen her gun, and sprayed perfume on it. Objection! Yes. So what's your objection? Christina, what's wrong? I shouldn't have said that I knew her gun was usually in the bathroom. The fact that my sister usually moves the gun around and that I apparently didn't have enough time to find it was supposed to be my trump card in this case. I was really too overeager during my explanation. In other words, you have no valid objection. That's the case. Ilmarinian's theory is stupidly simple, and I cannot refute it. Well then, it looks like Ilmarinian got an easy one this time. Only one more pillar to go. Scared, Mikuix? Throwback. I still remember saying that to you when we first met. I never imagined I would stand in a demon court with you discussing whether or not I'm a mass murderer. Neither did I, and hopefully this won't last much longer. Too bad I came here to win, Ilmarinian. You better brace yourself for the final case. I've been in the entertainment business long enough to know that the finale is the most important part of a show. So don't expect me to make another blunder. Now let's hear about the final pillar that conceals the true culprit's methods as well as mine. Ilmarinian, make sure this counts. No one has ever reached a point that far except for Miss Wiki Hagen. Wiki called her final case the elevator that broke her neck. I need to be careful now. Gastfinger and Christina have surely set something up to mess with me. Alright, here it comes. Listen closely. Ilmarinian's room. The culprit probably had access to the master key at one point. Elspeth may have been blackmailed into meeting someone at 1. The Wilhelmine might have died in an accident is the thing that we were given as an option if we wanted to pick Wilhelmine as our culprit, right? So I don't think that's going to help us. So yeah. First, I think we should acknowledge that you had access to the master key. I can see where this is going, and we both know that the gruesome blue truth has already destroyed its destination. Nevertheless, I'm curious to see how it goes. Tell me more. Why are you going with the theory that I, of all people, had access to the master key? It's because of the real locked room, just like in the previous case. The real locked room was Wilhelmine's. What? A book about learning Finnish was found in her room. Okay, so what? Wilhelmine visited me at night under the pretense of wanting to study Finnish with me. It's only logical she would bring the book she uses to study. I guess. But oddly enough, we didn't find this book at the crime scene. Instead, it was in her room. And her room was locked. Her real room key was inside of the locked room. How did her room key and the book end up in her room when the door was locked and nobody else was in there? Now I understand what you're mumbling about. So you're saying that for some reason I must have murdered her and then put her room key in her room? Exactly. To lock her door again, you must have had access to the master key. Technically, it's possible I could have done that. But what's the point of all this? It's to show that the master key was involved in your scheme. Since that doesn't prove anything, I might as well ignore it. On the other hand, objection, Elspeth had the master key with her at 10, and she used it to unlock your door at 8. You most likely stole the key between then and gave it back to her. I stole it? How would I do that? Wouldn't Elspeth have told everyone that her master key was stolen? Elspeth may have been blackmailed. She would have if you hadn't blackmailed her. Look, we found this interesting piece of paper on her while she was unconscious. Ilmarinian, can you read aloud what it says? Of course. I hope you're ready for an unforgettable night. I'll be visiting you at 1. I don't know about you, but this doesn't sound like blackmail at all. More like someone wanted to rizz her up. I wouldn't be surprised if you wrote that note. A blackmail note should at least be mildly threatening, like the one Clara received in the second case. Yes, Venga, I think this calls for another penalty, seeing as how Ilmarinian wasted our time with nonsense yet again. All right. Some penalty is in order. Kermit, why did you hit me? Don't tell me what to do. Just because you're the rival doesn't mean you're in charge. Ilmarinian, I will allow your theory to stand. The court is accepting this piece of paper as potential blackmail. Wait, really? Of course. A blackmail letter disguised as a Riz letter. You have no idea what Riz means, do you? My vocabulary is ever expanding. Okay, fine. It's possible that I had access to the master key at one time. So what? Oh, wait, don't say anything. I know the perfect follow-up to all this. It's a follow-up that will cost you the whole trial. What? Everything now hinges on your next answer. Really? Is it that drastic? Don't say the wrong thing or it'll cost you. Which key did I supposedly use to get into your room? Ooh. To get into Ilmarinian's room. Not to lock it, to get into it. Taking the wrong choice will penalise you. The master key, the room key. Okay. So. Keys that could have been used to get into Ilmarinian's room. We know that Ilmarinian locked his own door. So it's not his room key. It's probably not the master key. Because I feel like she's baiting us. No key feels like it doesn't work because I'm pretty sure we know that Ilmarinian locked his own door. So the mysterious key that we declared was like a one-use key that broke, which was left in Ilmarinian's room. and hasn't worked on any door since. That feels like it makes the most sense. You used the mysterious key we found in Wilhelmine's hand. Unfortunately, that key is completely irrelevant to the case. Oh, I forgot. That got added afterwards. Shoot. In the previous trial, Wiki already established the mysterious key was never used to open Ilmarinian's room door. Ah, shoot. Right, how did I forget that? Okay, how about you didn't use the key? We might not have actually locked the door, it's possible. Hold it, you didn't need a key. You were already in my room before Wilhelmine and I started our date. So, I was in there before your midnight date. Okay. And your door was locked during the date until Wilhelmine was murdered and I finally escaped with the master key? Right. So it's the only logical conclusion that the true culprit didn't need a key to enter your room? And since you're pointing at me, your theory says I must have been hiding in your room before it was midnight. Exactly. Culprit entered Ilmarine's room before midnight without needing a key. You just spelled out the solution to this case. Then use this theory if you dare. With pleasure. That's the solution. You snuck into my room before midnight and waited for me and Wilhelmine to enter. Ilmarinian, it was fun having this duel with you. And if the stakes weren't so high, I'd love to have another round. This is where you finally meet your maker. Why? What's wrong with this theory? Nothing is wrong with it, except for one itsy-bitsy problem. What is it? Would you like me to pull the trigger? As long as you don't shoot me with a real gun. Okay, let me take a deep breath first. Here it comes. Objection! I have an alibi for that time. What? Are you serious? What do you mean you have an alibi, and why is that in pink now? That was the trap I prepared from the very beginning. During the time in question, I was in the ballroom, sharing some dances with my designated partner Ismail. Several people can confirm that I didn't leave the ballroom before 1:45. You briefly left. Objection! You actually left the dance floor between 11 and 11:15. You must be very sweaty if that's the only argument you have. What is the point you're trying to make? You must have done something during that time. Yeah, I was in the public bathroom. I went back to the ballroom shortly after, so there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you could have been setting up a way to get into Ilmarinian's room without needing a key. It can't be. I refuse to accept that you did nothing to help prepare for the murder. Maybe you prepared a device that lets you open any door without a key. Objection! Nox 4. No unknown drugs, poisons, or mechanical devices that require lengthy scientific explanations are allowed. Alright, never mind. Wait. Now I've noticed it. All this fuss about Elspeth's master key when you actually used the black master key to unlock my door. Objection! Nox 4. You're not allowed to use clues generated in non-Euclidean space, and this black master key is definitely a non-Euclidean object. Okay. I have a better idea. You used one of those secret tunnels to get into my room. We've already found 2. Who's to say there aren't more? Objection! I do, because Nox 3. All secret rooms or passages must be discoverable, and only one at a time can be relevant. Now I get it. I understand what you did. You went to the bathroom and swapped identities with a shapeshifter. Either Alentora or Doppelganger was dancing with Ismail. You were already hiding in my room. This alibi is fake. You got me. Just kidding. Objection, Nox 10. No doppelgangers or shapeshifters are allowed. How many more Nox rules do you want to break before finally accepting your inevitable defeat? How much longer do you want to struggle like a fish being pulled on the line? Tell me, Ilmarinian Hella, why do you cling so tightly to life? Why won't you give up? Because it's not over yet. You could still come up with something. After everything that's happened, you're still fighting? Why should I give up? What's up with you? Scared that I figure your last trick as well? What sin are you hiding from me? What are you afraid to reveal? Huh? What did I just say? Don't you dare look at that paper again. Christina? What's wrong? Why did you suddenly decide to lie down? Court isn't over yet. Gasfinger, I think she collapsed. Curses, not again. What's wrong now, Christina? I think she's shaking. Wiki, could you come up and check on her? Sure. Her heart rate is very high. Something's definitely wrong. Pink girl, can you hear me? I'm so scared. So freaking scared. I'm about to lose it. I may not be a real medical student, but I know one thing for sure. She's definitely not faking it. Gastfinger, I think it's time to stop this. End this at once. But we're so close. So close to... So close to what? What is the meaning of this? What did you do to Christina? Nothing that should bother you. In fact, you should be happy that your rival seems to be out of the way. How would that make me happy? Her life is at stake right now. This has been the case from the very beginning. I don't care. Whatever process was talking about, stop it right now. So dark. Sense. Can you hear me? I failed you. I don't want to. Gastfinger, I protest as well. Is that how you treat your protege? Look how much she's suffering. Stop this at once. Okay, fine. I accept it. The experiment failed. But I don't know how to stop it. Which experiment? What were you trying to do? When you took over Olympia's body, Alentora, you effectively foiled my plan A. Christina was supposed to be plan B and Ilmarinian plan C. What plans? Please, let me explain. When I took over Agatha's murder mystery show, I began to wonder, what if there's a way to bring her soul back? Oh. What if I could nurture the fear she embodies into a new host? That's when the concept of the true culprit came to mind. The true culprit would be responsible for all the murders I commit. Initially, I chose random dreamers who had already lost to me in the past for this role, but no one could keep up their disguise for long. And then, one fateful night, Christina discovered me. She found one of my relics from when I was human. One of the scissors that I used back when I was a miserable amalgamation of a barber and a tailor living in Marienburg. Marienburg? Where's that? It's in what was once known as Prussia. The Prussian flag, so that's why it was there. Where was I? Right. This young lady accidentally reached out to me by putting my old scissors next to her when she was sleeping. Maybe it was a weird coincidence, or maybe it was destined to happen. It turns out that someone recently tried to murder her half-sister, Wilhelmine Anderson, and as a consequence she fell into a coma due to a blow to the head. By the time Christina met me, Wilhelmine had already lost her thumbs. As much as I felt sympathy for her, I stand by my principle of never returning something that already belongs to me. That's when she proposed a bet. It was a bet so risky and absurd it was worth putting in Wilhelmine's stolen thumbs in line. Christina bet that she could act as the true culprit for 7 games in a row without getting caught. If she succeeded, I would return Wilhelmine's thumbs and send her back to the living world. I accepted without asking anything in return in case she didn't make it. Initially, I was just thrilled to see what she would do. She became a murderer and had to come up with great ideas to outsmart some of the best detectives. She's already done who knows how many games. Well, this could be number 7. It's possible that this is number 7. And during the first trials, I noticed something. I saw how her fear grew. The fear of being exposed. Slowly but surely, I felt like I could hear Agatha's voice lingering through the hotel. Christina was exactly what I needed to begin my experiment of bringing Agatha back. I contacted Spallanzani to create a new vessel for Agatha's soul, one capable of shape-shifting like Olympia. I kept Olympia hidden in the basement, waiting for the moment when I would have the black knife back in my hands to start the soul transfer. However, Alentura's cat-like curiosity snatched it before I could use it. And without a doll to possess, I had to prepare a dreamer to be the new vessel. That's why Christina is currently experiencing the Mare Noctem. I cursed her to be the new host. Ilmarinian was also a likely contender, as I noticed he was receptive to the fear of being exposed. However, I decided that Christina was better suited. You may or may not have noticed that she begged you to figure out who the true culprit was after I cursed her. That was the sign that it was working. However, it seems she's not compatible with Agatha's soul. Her body is fighting against her influence. That's why she's shaking uncontrollably right now, and I don't really know how to fix this mess. Guest finger, now you've done it. Sandman? You can't use the Mare Noctem like that, especially when your goal is to transfer the soul of a deceased demon into a new host. Why do you think it took me all those years to find someone who would be compatible for Nathanalia? If the margin for error is higher than 1%, you risk breaking both the lingering soul and the dreamer. Wait, really? This was a very unwise move. How did you even inflict the Mare Noctem on her in such a short time when you didn't have access to my knife? That would be the book, I guess. To keep it short, I might have corrupted one of those romance comics she loves to read to test all the research I've done about the Mare Noctum on her. Gastfinger, why do you keep creating one mess after another? Using books to inflict the Mare Noctum sounds absurd. Well, it kind of worked. I can see the result. This young lady is about to turn inside out and take Agatha's soul with her into the nothingness. Miss Mickiewicz, rest assured I will put an end to your suffering. Don't expose my secrets. I cheated. Also, Agatha, in case you can actually hear me, it was an honor to have you as the queen on my side. Please don't be upset that I've already found a replacement. But now you must leave this host and this world. Set to rest. I made sure to keep Christina somewhat intact, but Agatha will never be able to return again. Gastfinger, I demand that you accept your loss. Everything that has happened is a direct consequence of your unhealthy obsession. Until I am sure that this will not happen again, I will officially degrade you. Degrade? Allowing Miss Hagen to steal your knife was reason enough. But what you just did now was the tipping point. Until I am sure you have learned your lesson, your rank will be the same as Alentura's and Nimorus's. This can't be happening. On top of that, Process can now give you direct orders, as long as they don't conflict with mine. No! Everything but that one thing! It could be worse. I can't! It is not my intention to make fun of you, Gastfinger. I listened to Agatha's suggestions and gave you a chance because I believed in you. You may have been my most trusted minion, but I fear this status went to your head. Don't disappoint me again, or I won't forget this debacle anytime soon. I rest my case. Finish your trial. I'll be on my way now. So we did pick the correct true culprit then. There's something I've wanted to do for a very long time. Gastfinger, I order you to admit that you're inferior to me. Process. Yes. Did you not understand me? You can't seriously be doing that to me in this situation. Is someone not following my orders? Should I report this to Sandman? At present, I am marginally inferior to Process. You know? Close enough. Next time, follow my orders closely. And to reward your loyalty, let me give you a present. What's this? An Agatha doll? The one you lost a long time ago. Really? Wait, the hair color is different. That's not the same doll. Is this another trick? No, this is a lesson. Everything you love you will eventually lose. But in the end, love will return in a different form. Thanks, I guess. not interrupting anything, but may I ask how Christina is doing? Her pulse normalized after Holmes did that strange thing to her. She's breathing normally. But I'm not sure she can continue the trial. She looks very exhausted. I guess this means Ilmarinian wins, right? Does it? It should. There's no rival anymore. Gatsfinger, please tell us all what we all want to hear. It hurts evenly. Evenly? How did everything end up like this? My whole plan, my rank. Gastfinger, get your act together. Miss Doppelganger. Don't call me Miss. We're friends. Listen, this has been the best trial I've ever witnessed, except for this little interruption. It's even better than anything Agatha has presented. I think you've surpassed her by now. Thank you. But you still need to nail the ending. I only came to this event because you were there. Otherwise, I certainly would have skipped it, for reasons you should be aware of. Look, all of those dreamers and dream demons are still watching. They want to see the ending. You're right. I can't leave them hanging after everything that's happened. Thank you, Doppelganger. That was very kind of you. You're welcome. But don't make us wait any longer. I would like to make a save, I think. While I have the opportunity, also I'm going to double check the room. We did find those cards earlier, and I don't think there were any more, and I don't think any more would have appeared. It's interesting that some of these dream demons are more solid than others. Alright then. Well then, I apologize for the long intermission. It seems that Ilmarinian's rival can no longer fight. Given that Ilmarinian provided an almost perfect explanation of how his rival must have been the true culprit, I don't think anyone would blame me for ruling in his favor. For those curious about how Christina might have been in Ilmarinian's room before he locked the door with his key, feel free to figure that out on your own. Don't blame me for the solution. Christina came up with it. Now then, my dear audience, please let me announce the result. For the first and probably only time, the detective standing right in front of me, Ilmarinian Haller, has successfully solved all 4 cases of my murder hotel. Ilmarinian, Ilmarinian, Ilmarinian. And as much as it pains me, I shall keep my promise. Ilmarinian Haller is allowed to wake up and return to the world of the living. I will personally ensure his safe arrival. Congratulations, Ilmarinian. You have outsmarted me. Wow, this feels unreal. Did I really do it? Did I really solve everything? I mean, we did successfully prove it, basically. So it's pretty good. You solved enough to make it count as a win. You overcame your fear of losing something important. Well done, Ilmarinian. Awesome. May I ask, when will you wake me up? Whenever you feel ready. I see. One more thing. Could you give Wiki her freedom back as well? Unfortunately, that's beyond what we agreed upon. She fought her own battle and lost. All I can do is allow you to wake up again. In that case, I'd like to talk with her for a moment. Go ahead. Hey, don't look sad. You've really done it. Thanks, but I had a lot of help from a skilled agent. And many others supported me in their own way as well. Still, I'm not sure if I even want to wake up. Why? What are you saying? Surely you have people waiting for you, right? Yes, my parents and my sister must be worried sick. You have a sister? Oh, right. I never told you about her. Marion, how many more secrets are you keeping from me? Not that many. I wish we could meet again. You made me realize that not all relationships have to be like the one I witnessed. Good. Because they can be much worse. That's the worst thing you could have said right now. I know. I'm very skilled at this. You should practice kissing instead. What? Why? I felt that's an area where you could improve. Why did you say that? Well, I want you to prove me wrong. Oh, gladly. I love you, Marin. Make sure to live your life. Don't search for me. And risk that someone else will find you. You know what I mean. I'll probably rot in Helheim once the hotel closes down. It's okay. At least I'll know that at least one person actually cared about me. That's more than I could ever ask for in my messed up life. I'll miss you. Same, Marin. Take care. And greet Hannah from me. I'll be waiting in Helheim for her. I certainly won't do that. Yeah, that's probably for the better. Are you two finally done? Well, I'd also like to say goodbye to everyone else. Who has time for that now? Gastfinger, why the rush? I need to practice my role for my next adventure, and make sure to restore my rank as second in command. I'm sure that you'll be able to achieve that. You're the creepiest hotelier I've ever met. I'd say that makes you a damn good dream demon. Ilmarinian, I think you have rizzed up enough people in my hotel. I agree. Could you please stop flirting with Gastfinger right in front of me? What? That wasn't flirting. Gastfinger, please wake him up before I start crying. With pleasure. Whoa, wait. Why do you need scissors for that? Where am I? This isn't my home. Am I dead? Guess I'm... I will stick with the English because I'm not gonna try. Ah, you're finally awake. Oh, excuse me, do you speak English? Yes, English is fine. I'm the head nurse. It's good to see you're finally awake. Where am I? We're at the Dr. Jadwiga. Oh boy. My apologies for how horrendously I'm about to butcher this one. We're at the Dr. Jadwiga Obanzinski Kroll District Health Center in Malbork. Do you remember what happened? Kind of. I think I made a crash landing. Do you remember your name? Ilmarinian Halla. No amnesia, and that's a good sign. Listen, you've been in a coma for 3 days. Well, that's the exact amount of time that we were in the hotel. I believe. Your mother told us she'll be visiting you tomorrow. I see. I must also inform you that we discovered you have gastroesophageal reflux disease. Or GERD. Given that which I should have gone for, given I can't pronounce the first bit. Were you aware of that? Huh? It's a chronic condition. It's not too severe, though, since it can be... So, I really have GERD. I see you know about it. If you're feeling unwell, please let me know. We have antacids and H2 blockers ready. Thank you. I also need to inform you of something. Although we haven't reported it to the authorities, I believe it's illegal to operate a machine when you're not feeling well. Right. That was very unwise of me. I'm sorry. Thank you for saving me. Don't thank us. A blonde woman noticed your broken machine while she was driving to the hospital a few days ago. If she hadn't found you and warmed you up in her car, you wouldn't have made it. Was I alone the whole time? No, there was another patient here. Who? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm being called. I'll be back in a moment, Mr. Halla. Oh, okay. I guess I had more luck than Kulavo. What an unfair world. Huh? What's this? Wait, how did the dog toy end up here? A toy ball? What's that doing here? I'm not sure how it ended up there, but I think it's going to help him remember what happened, right? I mean, Wiki brought it in, I seem to recall. So, like, not sure how it ended up outside of the dream. I'm liking all this art that we're getting in the credits. Cat picture. Nice. Now, where did I leave my experiment running? Ooh. What was that? Alright. We are done. This is back to the main menu. Well, that was fun. Such a tale of demons and murder. And if you want to check out the game for yourself, given that there are more endings than the one I got, I believe there should be a link in the description. How many vinyl discs did we collect? I think that's over in the options here. Yeah, there we go. So we're missing... Missing 8 out of 25. No, sorry, missing 9 out of 25. So we got 16. Yes, if you want to check out the game for yourself and find more of the things than I did, you can find the link in the description. So, yes. Indeed, another game finished on stream, which means that next Sunday will be something different, which, let's have a look. Let's check the poll. And it's still tied, so I guess I'm going to have to cast the final vote in that regard. So, yeah, thank you very much for coming. It's been fun. I already said that. If you're new here and you've enjoyed your time and want to continue watching me play different mystery games or other games, then consider subscribing to the channel. You can also follow me on social media, which is linked in the description box as well. The streaming schedule for this channel goes up both over there on social media and over here on YouTube in the post tab of the channel. The next stream is... well, sorry. This was the last scheduled stream of the week, so there'll be a new schedule up tonight. The next stream is tomorrow, Monday, and you're correct, Nick. It's time for some Twisted Wonderland. Because the new event's been up for a few days now. So yeah, next week's going to be a little bit off of normal, but you'll see when the schedule goes up. But yeah, so I hope to see you then or another time. Once again, thank you. Did I have any luck with Bill? My first free multi, absolutely nothing. I haven't achieved the stuff for the second free one. You made me lose my train of thought there. Once again, thank you very much for coming, and this is Kalla signing out. See ya! Bye bye!